Hello everyone, my name is Mariam Mokhtar. On my YouTube channel, you will learn some new things or the real meaning of some words and phrases. And today's lesson is the bailout. A bailout is when people who are broke give away their money so that rich people and their companies do not go broke. At a time when the rakyat is struggling, Malaysians are against government bailouts. It is not fair to the taxpayer. Why should we help a company which has been mismanaged for years? Their board members enjoyed fat salaries and huge perks when they were doing well. But if they were reckless with the way they ran the company, why should the rakyat, why should you and I be forced to bail them out? The kroni companies see the bailout as a safety net. But what sort of provision will the government give for poor Ali, Akau or Arumugam to see them through the tough times ahead? Recently, the company Sapura Energy has been in the news, a lot of news. Now, the oil and gas company experienced a meteoric rise during the 1980s and 1990s, but by 2015, trouble was brewing. And on 21st of March 2022, The Edge reported that Sapura Energy's shares were trading at 3.5 sen, down from a peak of 4.48 ringgits in December 2013. Now, do you remember the saying, the higher you climb, the harder you fall? Perhaps the saying, the higher you climb, the harder you fall, could also describe its corporate board members with its star-studded cast of big names from Petronas Carigali, Royal Dutch Shell and other well-known companies. Now, these men were given the task of turning the company around, but they all failed. So why should we help a company that has been mismanaged for years? Despite the continuing resurgence of crude oil prices, after the dip in prices over 5 years ago, and the cash injection from PNB, Permodalan Nasional Berhad, why is Sapura's performance so terrible? On 21st March, the convicted felon Najib Abdul Razak, he suggested that the government bail out Sapura Energy again and protect it from bankruptcy. Now, the rakyat is understandably outraged by Najib's suggestion. PNB bailed out Sapura to the tune of 2.68 billion ringgits in 2019, and in doing so, it acquired a 40% stake in the firm. Now, astute observers may notice that this amount of money, 2.68 billion, is more or less a similar amount of money to the 2.67 billions which Najib had allegedly channeled into his personal bank accounts from 1MDB. Now, members of the rakyat are often the victim of company mismanagement and theft by those who should be looking after their welfare. Now, why should any of us agree to throwing more good money after bad? Why? After PNB, Sapura Energy's second largest shareholder is its former president, Shahril Shamsuddin, who controls a 13.91% stake in the company. Now, Shahril had headed Sapura since July 2004, when it was still known as Crest Petroleum Berhad, a unit of Renung Berhad. Shahril had acquired Renung's stake in Crest Petroleum. Now, the question which most members of the rakyat would like to ask is this: who will bail them out? Yeah, you and me, when we get into serious financial difficulties. The rakyat is experiencing the damaging effects of the coronavirus pandemic. The cost of living has skyrocketed. Will the government bail them out? As it is, many Malaysians are forced to claw into their meagre EPF savings just to survive. For millions of Malaysians, their problems are only just beginning. Many will have suffered huge losses because of the coronavirus pandemic. Lives will have been changed when family members who contracted coronavirus became very ill and could not work, or possibly they died. Now the loss is more acute when breadwinners are affected. Others will have been forced to close down their businesses, and those who are employees may find that their services have been terminated because their employers could not afford to have them on the company payroll. In December 2021, The Edge again reported that the brokerage firm UOB Kay Hian had changed its call on Sapura Energy to sell from hold, and it slashed its target price by 70% from 10 sen to 3 sen. It added that UOB was also assuming a worst-case bankruptcy scenario. In response to this damning indictment of the firm's performance, Sapura responded with various reasons, one of which was that the group was facing short-term cash flow and liquidity issues, primarily exacerbated by the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. The firm also tried to reassure the market that every attempt was being undertaken to resolve these various issues. As far as many Malaysians are aware, the problems at Sapura have been known for many, many years. They were there before the pandemic affected all of us on a worldwide scale. Now, the most glaring problem, apart from the personality clashes in Sapura, is mismanagement. Last year, The Edge again reported that speculation was rife that Sapura's shareholders were furious with the take-home pay of the former President Shahril. He took home, I think, 71.9 million ringgits in the financial year 2018, and in the financial year 2017, he took home 84.24 million ringgits, which is high by Malaysian standards, but barely acceptable by global norms. Anwar Taib, with his 30 years of experience in oil and gas in Sarawak Shell Berhad, was appointed Sapura Energy's CEO in March 2021. His task was to turn the company around. But despite the cash injections, the change in members of the corporate board, a new management team, refinancing, selective bidding for jobs, and a different focus on the business, Anwar failed to improve Sapura's financial health. He may or may not have been going round to the government with his begging bowl, but the question is still valid. Why should Sapura be bailed out yet again? Why? It has been drummed into us that if Sapura is not given financial help, 10,000 high-paying jobs and 4,000 or around 4,500 vendors and suppliers will be affected, and Sapura's valuable assets will have to be sold. In addition, ASB investors will suffer, as will the EPF and local banks like Maybank, which is 50% owned by PNB. Now, all of this is happening in the run-up to GE15, the general elections. So, Prime Minister Ismail Sabri faces a dilemma. Again, it's all about politics. GE15 and votes. If Ismail bails out Sapura, he risks upsetting the Right Yacht, who is also demanding more financial aid. Alternatively, if Ismail did not help Sapura, he risks upsetting the Malay electorate, because most of the people who will be made jobless are Bumiputra, and the subcontracting firms are Bumiputra owned. Malaysians are fed up with GLC bailouts like MAS and MISC. What did the ordinary rakyat gain from company mismanagement and political interference? You tell me. What did we gain from all of this? Right Yacht's money was confiscated to to help the crony companies. So I say, let the failing Sapura die a natural death. Many Malaysian households are more deserving of help than just one company. Thank you for listening. Speak to you soon. If you like my videos, please press like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please also visit my Patreon channel if you wish to sponsor me. Thank you.